Hi, I'm Judy Woodworth, and we're going to talk about feed today. So, we're going to start off with hay. In the wintertime, I feed hay for about 3 or 4 months. Most of the time, my horses are on pasture. This is just fairly decent grass hay. It was not harvested real well, so it's got a little bit of brown in it. You want your hay to be really green, and part of this is really green, but it's got brown spots. So when you go to buy hay, you want to make sure that you buy hay that has got lots of green in it, because it's got a lot more nutritional value. If it gets brown, it may have been rained on, something may have happened when they were trying to harvest it. And there's also a interesting phenomenon about hay when it's harvested. The farmers that harvest it middle of the afternoon to late evening, there is more nutrient value in it than the farmers that are harvesting it in the morning. And the big farms go all day long, so you get a mixed bag of hay when it comes to when it's been harvested and how much nutritional value it has in it. And I like to feed grass hay, but where I live in the Walla Walla Valley, this is the standard fare for horses. We use a lot of alfalfa hay because it's less expensive than grass hay. And there are some concerns with alfalfa hay about it being hot for horses. I get away with it to some degree because my horses are on part pasture most of the time. They're not generally just on straight alfalfa hay. So I don't mind doing it quite so much. I have gone to feeding my horses Audubon birdseed because I think it has more nutritional value than some of the grains I can get, and I think it's probably got less glyphosate. Probably raised better. At least I'm hoping that that's the case. And I also feed them beet pulp because it has plenty of fiber, and when they take the sugar out of sugar beets, they leave all the nutrient value behind. So you get the fiber and you get the nutrient value. So it's really good for your horses. And this is the easy pelletized stuff. About 10-15 years ago, I used to have friends that would go to the factory and buy the beet pulp fairly inexpensively and use it instead of hay. And they had to soak it because they would get the raw fiber. So it hadn't been processed a little bit and squished into pellets and such for them. So this is actually easier to feed, maybe probably almost as good for the horses. And one of the other nutrients that horses need is salt. And this salt block happens to be in the barn because if your salt blocks sit out where they can be exposed to the elements, they run out with the water that's coming down during the winter time. So because I had friends that didn't know I had a salt block out here for the horses that bought me a couple extra, I have an extra salt block. But if you notice, this salt block is red. And the salt blocks that I like to use are a gray color because they contain selenium, and we're kind of low in selenium in this part of the country in the ground, so the horses don't always get enough, and I want to make sure my horses are getting enough selenium. So I usually buy a salt block that includes selenium.